Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home. Welcome everybody to the Heal Your Hunger Show. So happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive, and you're going to love my guest today. First, I just want to invite you over to the Heal Your Hunger Tribe. Hop on over to Facebook and type in Heal Your Hunger Tribe and be a part of what we're doing there. Lots of great community, awesome guests popping in there. And then, of course, I pop in there with Facebook Lives and good tips and tools for you so you can live happier and healthier. And now for my guest, welcome Dr. Mariza Snyder. So happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, Tricia, for having me. I am overjoyed to be here with you today.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for this talk that we're about to have. Let me just introduce you. For people who don't happen to know you, Dr. Mariza Snyder is a functional practitioner and the author of 6 books, the best-selling The Smart Mom's Guide to Essential Oils and the DASH Diet Cookbook. Her newest book, which we were just talking about, and you can hold up so everybody can see it.
Yes, absolutely.
So exciting.
Yay!
Yes. So this is the Essential Oils Hormone Solution. So this is big stuff, guys. This is something you want to get your hands on because she is laying it out there for us. She is the all-time go-to expert for essential oils. And just welcome. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. I am excited for what we're going to get into.
Yeah, this is cool stuff. And you've been rocking and rolling and helping so many people and speaking and just being everywhere at once. I don't know how you do it. Must be the oils, right?
You know it is, girl.
So talk to me about really what's gotten you into really helping people and being so passionate, especially about women's hormone health.
Absolutely. So Tricia, about 10 years ago, girl, I was a hot mess. I was struggling with my hormones.
I don't believe it.
Oh my goodness. You know, it looked okay from the outside, but things were happening on the inside.
Right.
And, my mama always taught me, fake it till you make it. But I don't know if that's necessarily true when you're not well, Right. So I was definitely struggling. I had basically burned myself into the ground. I had this, I grew up with this overarching belief that as a woman, my worth, everything that I thought I was worth was predicated on what I did for other people. And I really didn't put myself first. I was never on the list. And I also learned from a very early age that, girl, when you run to stuff, you can get there faster. And so I found myself running from here to there. I was like a little speed bunny, just one thing to the next. Well, eventually, without rest, your body gives up. I honestly thought that I could fuel my body with stress. And I could for like this amount of time. And then it all came crashing down upon me. I had horrible mood swings. My PMS was out of control. I had terrible migraines. I had really what got me was the chronic fatigue. I literally felt like there were days where I just needed to crawl to something. Like there was no more running. It was a good day was being able to walk to it. And that's when I knew something was terribly wrong and I needed to change the way I was taking care of my body. At the time, I was in practice and I was taking care of women just like me. And I felt like a bit of a phony because here I was struggling in my own way. Not all of them knew it, and I was taking care of them and not taking care of me. And that was kind of my big wake up call. Not only did I want, so funny, I wanted to make sure I served my women, but right. I also knew that I needed to serve myself if I was going to continue to do that work. And that's what sent me on this beautiful mission. Also at the time, I want to say this is in 2009, 2008, when this was going down, there wasn't a lot of information still for me out there. I felt like in the last decade, so much has shifted in terms of women's hormone health and women's awareness. I just felt like I was constantly just getting dismissed. Like, you're fine. You're just, all women, they're just tired.
Yeah,
all women,
very emotional.
They're just anxious. They're just, here's some Wellbutrin. Get on out,
Yep.
I just thought I knew that wasn't the answer. So it just sent me down this amazing rabbit hole. Luckily, a lot of other women at the same time were going down that same rabbit hole and really began to put together a plan to get my body back on track. So voila.
Oh, yeah, you got it, girl. That's awesome. It's so beautiful, and you do such amazing work and have helped so many women. So because I have emotional eaters here who do struggle with food and weight and hormone health for sure. So are there some typical imbalances that do cause people, to hold on to weight?
Absolutely. I think the big one is kind of the one I was personally struggling with myself, and that is, being stressed. We know that stress has horrible ramifications on the body. It deregulates our insulin levels. One of the things that I discovered recently that I didn't realize I had experienced it. I mean, I had horrible cravings, and I was, you go to that phase where you don't know any better. I remember starving myself and gaining weight. I remember eating and gaining weight. I remember, that cupcake and that stare down, I lost every time. I never won the stare down. And what I learned is that cortisol has such a profound impact on the body that it can actually hijack our willpower center, our cortex. And so this, it's not so much that we have these cravings, but usually it's this unmet need. And for me, I was stressed. I had no energy. And my body was just clamoring and surviving on anything it could get its hands on. And I just felt like I was being driven by something else. And I needed to get the stress under control. I needed to get the cortisol under control so that I wasn't having these crazy cravings. I wasn't eating because of stress. That I was actually using other modalities to heal myself, opposed to trying to medicate with food. I think we've all been there. And I don't even think always that we know that it's going on all the time. I don't know. What would you say, Tricia? What do you find with your amazing clients?
Well, my experience is overeaters are overdoers. So we definitely tend to be very stressed because we're also people pleasers. So that combination is bad because we're saying yes to everything because we don't want to disappoint anybody. And then we're just running ourselves ragged. And so much of the time, that's where that stress is coming from, is really putting too much on our plate, so to speak. So, what do you, besides changing, obviously we need to, nothing's going to change if we don't change and change our self-care. But in terms of our hormones and getting that cortisol in control, are there other ways to do that?
Absolutely. That's why I think one of the reasons why I fell in love with essential oils is I was talking to our good friend Magdalena today, and she's just like, everyone thinks an essential oil is a magic bullet. And I was like, oh, but it is. You can cure menopause with essential oils. And the idea of even curing menopause just makes me laugh because it's a beautiful, normal process in the body. But we were joking around. But what I have learned is that essential oils can really be the support system, kind of that emergency thing that can really help get you back on track, right? Because it's usually when we are people pleasing, we are doing too much that we go off the rails. And what if we had a little tool that could bring us back into the rails? And so what I look at that chemistry. So I have a blend right here. It's my stress reset blend, and it's a combination of lavender and bergamot. It's just 2 oils. Bergamot is the oil of self-love and self-acceptance. Lavender is just all things calming and relaxing and nourishing. And the combination lowers serum cortisol levels, like just by breathing them in, but also lowers the stress response in the brain, because that's who's triggering it, right? The brain is like, that's a perceived issue. That's, your brain is like in stranger danger mode. It's looking for the stress, right? So it lowers that response system. Because one of the things, I don't know if this ever happened with you, Tricia, or you see this in your clients, but I found that once I was in a state of stress, I stayed there. I couldn't seem to get out of this loop. And I felt like I was more easily triggered,
Yes,
that
totally.
I fell into it faster. Little things would just set me off and then just set me into this little cascade. And then you get emotional, you get upset, and you're trying to kind of soothe yourself with food or whatever that may be. And so I'm always trying to figure out, well, how can we stop that loop from happening where we kind of find ourselves in that spot? Mm-hmm. And one of the things I love, I talk about self-care and that self-care really is permission to pause. And what if we could take an oil blend like lavender and bergamot that lowers cortisol levels, disrupts the stress pattern. It just kind of just wedges itself in there and says, no more. We are going to relax. We're going to calm down. We're going to reset the system. And so I think by having this with you in those moments where you're feeling like you're overtaxed, overworked, neglected, that's going to be a gorgeous oil to have on hand to just reset the body. And it's the chemistry that really does that. So that's why I love this blend so much.
I love that. And also I would imagine it's such a quick way to take care of yourself. It's not like you can always just stop and meditate, stop, drop, and meditate, it's yeah. So it's like, it's a conscious, active thing, but it really represents self-care to pull that out of your purse and literally, would you put it on your hands and smell it?
Yeah. So what I like to do, the great thing about rollers is they just roll on everywhere, anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I roll it over my palms like this and taking a couple, like 3 to 5 deep belly breaths. And if you really want to amplify kind of taking your body from sympathetic dominance, so fight or flight dominance, to a state of relax, so parasympathetic, balance. What I recommend is taking a deep breath, so all the way in, with the oils right in your palms like this, and then holding that breath for 5 seconds and then breathing it all out and holding the breath at the bottom for 5 seconds. And what we know is that the combination of this pause reset technique along with this pause reset blend, that we can actually change the neural pathways of how we respond to stress over time. So that to me is a surefire way to really help support us, I think, in a really easy way.
That's awesome. I love that. And it's so beautiful too. I like your little oil thing.
Yeah. My little rollers. Oh, God, yeah. They're so cute.
They're beautiful.
And you know what? It's one of the things I struggled with is I thought that this healing journey I just felt like my healing journey was painful and a struggle. And I remember so many women feeling the same way, that it just felt hard. I wanted to figure out a way, how can we relish in these moments? How does it feel, like you mentioned, how does it feel like it's doing something for ourselves, even if it's just a little thing? Because I think in the psychology too, because I know for me, when I pick up a blend, they're intoxicating. I relish in them. They make me happy. There's so much about it that my brain is like, oh, we're going to get an oil. Oh, it gets my brain is like, oh, it's oil time. And like, no more stress time. Right. So it's such a great thing. I even, every morning I take a shower. So, people shower, but I have a little spray, a little aromatherapy spray. And it's a combination of eucalyptus, wild orange, and frankincense. And I don't know what it is about that blend. It just drives me crazy. And I spritz it over my head. It literally takes 3 seconds, maybe less. I don't even know. And it's just the act of doing that in the shower. No one's around to bother me. It's just me and my shower and my oils. And it's just this little thing that I do for myself that not only energizes me, opens up the airways, has me feeling good, but I get a gold star for doing self-care right there.
So you do it literally in the shower.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're actually, in that, probably the heat of the shower helps open up the airwaves too.
Yeah. Opens up the airways, absorbs as well. It absorbs on the skin, and it's just like a little 2-ounce spray bottle. You can get them anywhere, Amazon, it doesn't matter. It could be witch hazel. It could be water inside of them. And then it's usually about 10 drops of each, about 30 drops total in that little spray. And I just shake it up because oils are lipophilic. So you got to kind of shake it up a little bit to get it mixed in with the water. And then you just spritz. But it could be, maybe you shower in the night and you're trying to escape your kids. I don't really know what it is, but it could be lavender and cedarwood and jasmine, or it could be, I think that's so great. You can come up with any combination that you love. Since I shower in the morning, it's usually Energizer oils that kind of wake me up. So it's just those little things I think can really make a big difference.
Totally. And I use lavender at night. I put some on my pillow. I put them on both corners of my pillow, depending on which side I'm sleeping on. I'll get some. So I know it helps me sleep.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I know so many women struggle with sleep as well. A lot of us have the mental chatter, right? It's hard to turn the brain off, especially if the iPad's still in bed with us. I
Oh
always say
yeah.
you gotta put the iPad away.
Yep.
That iPhone's gotta go. But just, dimming the lights, there's a lot of things, taking magnesium, there's all kinds of wonderful things we can do. I think what I love so much about oils as a ritual is, again, it's an active thing that you're doing. It's something you're saying, hey, you know what? It's time for me to unwind. It's time for me to relax. I'm going to put some relaxing oils in here. I'm going to put my sleepy oils in. So like cedarwood and lavender, clary sage, Roman chamomile, any of them, all of them will do the trick. And for us, we use a little diffuser. It's right over, I can see it's right there.
I have one too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we use this diffuser and it runs. And we've done this for so many years now that our brain just automatically begins the shutdown mode. Like the second the oils start going, my brain's like, oh, it's bedtime. And so you can change the way that we think about our sleep patterns, how our brain functions, because our brain we fall into these loops. And when you start to train your brain that, hey, it's 9 o'clock, we're shutting things down, we're shutting you down, then the brain's going to really acquiesce to those chemical constituents.
And so what are the best ones? Because I typically use, I love the doTERRA oils. I typically use the On Guard, when I'm sleeping. But what other ones can help you kind of do that shutdown thing?
Absolutely. So great question. So my top 5 shutdown oils, like we have like a little blend. It's kind of a, I don't like to use languaging like this, but like the kind of the idea is like we have this version we call liquid ambium, like shut it down, without it being a medication.
Right.
And it's a combination of lavender and vetiver. So, and vetiver is a root oil. It grows deep into the ground, but it has high levels of psychoterpenes, which can be very sedative and can be very like a neurotonic, crosses through the blood-brain barrier. But for some reason, that particular combination is just very, very relaxing and sedative-like. So a lot of patients that I've worked with dealing with sleep issues, that is that power combo right there. Roman chamomile, we know that Roman chamomile or any chamomile tea, we know it's so great for sleep as well, but the aromatherapy benefits, it kind of, Roman chamomile smells like a green apple. So it's very lovely. So Roman chamomile is a great one. Lavender is also a great one. I just find that sometimes with people really struggle with sleep issues, lavender with a cedarwood or lavender with sandalwood or lavender with vetiver really kicks it into the neurological kind of calm down of the brain.
Okay, that's super interesting. So I have a question about the diffuser.
Yeah, sure.
So, my diffuser kind of, like I always think it has to blow right into my face.
Yes. No.
But it doesn't. It like drops.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's totally fine. Yeah, so a little bit about diffuser. So this is a cold air diffuser, and it's meaning that it doesn't, remember oils are volatile, which means that they, with heat, if they're heated up, their properties will get destroyed. So they're very delicate. So, and that's why when you're applying oils, you always want to have a carrier oil, like a coconut oil or almond oil or grapeseed oil, because again, you put an oil, a pure, let's say you put lavender right here on your arm. Mm-hmm. Let's just say maybe you do that with a kid, or they can just smell it before they go to bed or something like that. But the thing of it is that a lot of that lavender oil will probably dissipate into the environment because it just does that so quickly. So it's nice to have it in a carrier. It absorbs better, it's safer, it's easier. And so the same thing when we're talking about a diffuser, it's a cooling diffuser. It runs with water like the one you're talking about. And it can be anywhere in the room and different diffusers have different bandwidth. Like they can go, like this one, I think it covers 600 square feet, this particular diffuser, mm-hmm. and it goes on and off for 10 hours. So I can run it all night long. Okay. So we usually start it at 9 o'clock and just let it do its thing for the rest of the night. But it's not even necessarily over our bedside. Now, if you've got somebody who is really, really struggling with sleep, having insomnia issues, I do recommend running it the entire night through. Especially if someone accidentally just wakes up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, when you have the oils running anywhere within the proximity, because guess what? Those oils are suspended in water. So they're floating all around the room, all around the room all night. So they're going to continue to work on the neurological system.
Okay, so not like drop into the floor. You should see me. I'm like a little dog. Like I'm like putting my nose by it, like trying to smell the.
I promise you're getting
right out.
You're getting the benefit. But I do love that you're putting lavender on the pillow.
Okay.
You can also kind of like that spray I was talking about in the shower. You can make a sleep spray, and lots of families, lots of parents love to do that. Lots of moms love to do that for their kids. Like a little lavender and Roman chamomile little spritz on the bedding, even for babies too. That works. And so, you know, there's a lot of little techniques. I personally, when it comes to sleep, I love the diffuser, but I love rolling the oils directly on the back of my neck because that's where the sleep center is. I'm like, I want to get it right in there.
Right.
And then I rub it on my palms. I breathe it in, and I'll even put it on the bottom of my feet. So I kind of want those oils in the system, in the body. So I do a diffuser, and then I apply them topically to the skin.
And do they have to have the carrier also?
I think so. I mean, it's just you waste so much. You don't waste oils that way. You can waste so much oil just by putting it on neat. And yes, sometimes when I can't find my roller, am I putting some oils on neat, especially like lavender? It's very, very safe. I don't recommend doing oregano neat. That's hot, you know. So there's some oils that are more irritating than others. But usually we have sleep blends pre-made up that are just ready to use. So I think that's how we really set ourselves up for success, right? Everything's ready to go.
That's great. And
we have, like, for instance, our diffusers, we have little pods of oils next to every diffuser. Girl, gosh forbid I have to walk diffuser to diffuser with different oil blends. So like we have like a little citrus medley on one diffuser. We've got a little brain fog begone medley and another diffuser setup. So, and then we've got all of our sleep blends inside the bedroom. So we have like these little pods everywhere you go. So if you ever come to my house, you'll get to pick whatever pod of oils you want to play with.
I love that. Well, it reminds me, I mean, I have 2 diffusers. I can set one up in my office. I need to do that.
Oh my gosh, it's the game change. Like my, as you can imagine, we're working on getting the book out into the world, and we're working pretty a lot. I'm not gonna pretend like we're not.
Hello.
And we have a diffuser next to me where I work, and then we have a diffuser next to Alex, because Alex and I, we kind of like our own thing. And we like to do our own thing. So Alex right now, he is going absolutely crazy for grapefruit, tangerine, and spearmint. And that combination is an instant energizer. So, and for me, I'm doing frankincense, a little bit of rosemary, a little bit of wild orange, and a little bit of peppermint. It's part of my brain fog begone blend. I just need to be firing on all cylinders. And that little rosemary kick really does it for me. So we have our little setups that are different.
That's great. Yeah. I love it so much. Now, you've been on the show before, and I really enjoyed our talk about you had some kind of go-to oils for if you have cravings or fatigue and stress. What are the best recommendations for that?
Absolutely. So my instant energizer blend, and it was so funny. I was just connecting with Fiona and a couple other friends, and they're just like, "You just got so much energy. Like, what are you using?"
I'll have what she's having.
And it's my instant energy blend. And you know what's so great about oils is that not only are they adaptive, but we don't really develop a resistance to them. That's what's so great about plants. Like, we don't really develop a resistance to blueberries either, right? We're always going to get those benefits, or kale or spinach or carrots, some of my favorite foods. So same thing about, you know, in terms of using plants as medicine chemistry in a lot of ways, like plant-based medicine, it's the same kind of thing. So I've been using this instant energy blend, I can't tell you, girl, for years, every single day for years. And it works every single time. Like, it has never steered me wrong. Just like lavender usually doesn't steer people wrong as well. And so it's just one drop of, I actually have one of them right here. It's already pre-made. So in this blend, it's just my wild orange. But in this blend is technically, because I go through wild orange like it's water in this house, we have a lot of empty bottles.
I love that one.
Oh my gosh. So I have about 50 drops of wild orange and 50 drops of peppermint is basically what I have in here. Cool. So it's pre-made. Now you could just do one of each bottle, totally no problem, but I already have it. Girl, I like efficiency, I'm not gonna lie. So I got it already pre-made up. It sits next to me 24/7 for the most part. So I just do one drop of that blend, rub my palms together, breathe it in, and then whatever's left, I love to put it on the back of my neck because that peppermint does that little kick, kind of wakes you up. And the peppermint oxygenates, oxygenates the brain, opens up the lungs, and your mitochondria are just so excited about that. So that's my instant energy blend. Now, the other one that you asked me about is for cravings. Now, cravings. We talked a little bit about that already, right? And so often it's usually something else. Like your liver is never saying, man, I could really use that stale donut. Like never, you know? So your body's not wanting the donut. You don't even want that donut most of the time. It's just that we oftentimes just cave. We give in because that lack of willpower that we're struggling with. So I love to have an emergency oil on hand just to kind of buy me time, distract me, move me over here. So the research right now, there's an article in the Journal of Neurology by Dr. Alan Hirsch. He studied the benefits of the aromatherapy benefits of peppermint oil. And what we found is that peppermint is a craving suppressant. It can suppress those cravings, knock them out. And what oftentimes we find with cravings is they last about 90 seconds, give or take, 90 seconds to 3 minutes. And so if you can get out of that danger zone, you can stay free and clear. So I have a craving blend that's made up just like this. It's called my Craving Begone blend. And it is 20 drops of peppermint, 10 drops of grapefruit, and 5 drops of lemon. And grapefruit and lemon are also phenomenal at helping to boost energy and stave off cravings as well. You're breathing it in, you're rubbing it on your wrist, you are just put it on you, get it on you. And what I always recommend too is that if you got it in you, get the blend out, and then just walk away. Walk away from the scenario, because distraction is such a big part of that too. Just you can go distract yourself. But this is going to change. It's going to change the craving center. It's going to change what's going on in the cortex that has you craving those chips or that cupcake or that stale donut at 4 o'clock in the afternoon that you said no to like 10 times that day, right? It's always after you've said no to that donut 10 times that it comes back to get you. So. Oh
my God. So that's great. I just use Sunny Citrus.
Yes.
That smells really good too.
It does. It's a combo of oils. It's a combo of citrus oils.
Yeah, it's really nice. Well, I love all these suggestions. And I think the bottom line is, it takes a second or two to interrupt, just the pattern interrupt of thinking, wow, there's an alternative, to my knee-jerk reaction here. And that is, again, that self-care act of putting the oils on. I mean, I have oils right next to my desk and I'm not using them. They're just sitting there. And so being conscious of, wow, what can I do to soothe myself, take care of myself, putting it on the hand, taking the time to smell it. We're talking, a total of about 20 seconds here. And I just think that pattern interrupt is so, so important. But especially because we're consciously thinking, how can I help myself? What can I do to help myself? And I just think that is so, so important, just not only literally, but also energetically and psychically as well.
Absolutely. It is hard for us. I remember a couple of years ago, I was sitting with a patient of mine, and she was struggling through some health things, and I was, helping her out. But I remember she was walking out, and I was just using some just common language. And I told her, just take care of yourself. And she looked at me dead in the eye, and she's like, Dr. Mariza, if I knew how to do that, I wouldn't be here.
Oh my God.
And it was that moment where I was, I was like, oh my gosh, and I think a lot of women feel that way, that they're like, I never was equipped. No one told me that was okay. I never knew how to do that. And that's what I'm glad we're having these kind of conversations, because what women write into me all the time and say, it's the hardest thing I struggle with is putting myself first. I've always been told that I'm not supposed to. I always everyone first. And so, I can't tell you how profound, these little simple things can really just start to chip away at taking care of ourselves in a way that's nourishing. And, we didn't talk a lot about emotional well-being, but I was doing a little Facebook Live the other day, and I asked where all my oil girls are at, and everyone's sending me emojis. It was so much fun. It's a Sunday night. Everyone's kind of winding down. Here I am educating people about hormones on a Sunday night, but we were doing it. And I say, okay, what are your oils? What are the oils? What are you guys using right now? What'd you put on? And a woman wrote that I'm wearing lavender, clary sage, and bergamot. And the reason why is because for the first time in my life, when I started using that blend, because a friend had made it for me, it was the first time in my life that I broke the cycle of this horrible anxiety that I was experiencing. And, you know, these oils are going to work different for different people. I think it was the act of being willing to do something like that for herself on top of the chemistry that had that profound benefit. So if you feel like you need some emotional love out there, I think, you know, oils are just another little way to kind of give you that emotional love that we so desperately need. It's so easy to kind of just wear ourselves down with negative self-talk.
Yeah. Well, I love that there's such a simple solution, you know, I mean, it's just really, God bless God for creating something so beautiful that can help us so quickly and easily.
Absolutely. These
and enjoyably, right?
Yes.
It's like you said, it's like a little treat.
It's a treat. Healing shouldn't be painful. And I know that there are moments when there are. I'm not going to pretend like there isn't. We've been there, you and I both. You know, there were painful moments. But I think that we can punctuate these moments with beauty and joy and relishing. And women, we deserve pampering. We deserve relishing. And if it's just in a form of a little oil that you put on that makes you feel good, well, then go get it. Go get it, you know? And if someone messes with you, puts you in a bad mood, I just want you to grab that wild orange oil, because let me tell you, you cannot stay mad by breathing that oil. That oil will take you from an angry, irritated state to a much better state in like 60 seconds or less. So anytime I'm feeling all that stuff is bubbling up, you know, we always hold it right here in our chest. It's just hurting. I grab that wild orange and all of it just melts away. So that's another technique. If someone's just driving you crazy, maybe like spritz them with some wild orange. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna get you with my wild orange. Love it. Quickly tell us about your book, your amazing best-selling book.
Yes. So a lot of things we're talking about today and so much more. It's very hormone driven. It's all in the Essential Oils Hormone book. And what I love about it, you know, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit biased, but what I love about it is I think it really does have something for everyone. If you're struggling with sleep, I got you, girl. If you're struggling with cravings, I've got that too. If you're looking for non-toxic options, even if you're struggling with your libido, energy, stress, name it, I really cover the gamut. I give you beautiful self-care rituals. I give you oil remedies. And then I've got a 14-day plan that really just changes the game, like resets you with my little hormone trifecta. So, and if you've never used oils before, I take care of that too, because I know a lot of people are going to be picking up this book for hormones, not necessarily because they're oil experts. So it's got a lot of fun stuff, and the oils, the recipes have been used and proven. I've done so much research. Girl, 40 pages of bibliography is in that book. I'll tell you what. So lots of great research to back it up. I am so excited to get this book into the hands of women who really deserve that love and self-care that is coming for them.
I love that. Well, congratulations. It sounds like such a delicious book. I'm so excited that you've done this, that you've put the time in. Oh my God, so many hours upon hours to create this and then to get it out into the world. So thank you for doing that. Tell me, what's the best, I know you have a gift or a way for people to really grab a hold of this stuff and benefit right away.
Absolutely. So I have an amazing little cheat sheet. I think that's what I'm giving you, girl. I created for your audience. So it is my Cravings, Stress, and Energizer cheat sheet. It has all of my, like if you wanted to get started now, because the book doesn't come out until the 12th. I don't know when this is going live. But if you're ready to get started right now, you're looking for my best little recipes. You know, I love a cheat sheet because it's easy, it's simple. When I build cheat sheets, that's all I think about is like, okay, how can I make this as easy as possible? Because I know adding one more thing to your plate is not something you're looking for. So very easy. That's going to be the little free gift. And then if you guys are looking for me, you know, I have had Tricia on my podcast. Oh, girl, that episode was so good. The Essentially You podcast, and I'm on Instagram at Dr. Mariza, so at DrMariza. Those are some fun places to come and check me out.
Beautiful. Well, you just really bring it, and I just love you so much and appreciate you for all that you are and all that you do in the world.
Thanks so much, honey. You
Thank
too.
you.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to get free support, insider health info, exclusive invites to events, and more, visit healyourhunger.com.